Welcome back to the program, and now to some of our stories in brief when we take you to Imo State, where the governor, Emeka Ihedioha, has declared the deplorable state of infrastructure and conditions of service at the Imo State Secretariat complex in Owerri, the capital. The governor disclosed this when he paid a visit to the complex along Port Harcourt Road in Owerri, the capital. He promised that his government will ensure that all necessary things needed to be put in place to give the place a facelift will be done in the shortest possible time. And principal officers have been named in the Senate. The President of Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, explained that the names were contained in two separate letters sent to the upper legislative house by the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. Our correspondent Terry Kumi reports.
Red Chamber, for which plenary was adjourned for 2 weeks. Senators arrive and move to their allotted seats.
Now invite the mentioned.
After the votes and proceedings are adopted, the clerk of the Senate swears in Mohammed Sani from the APC as senator representing Niger East. He replaces David Umaru, who was removed by a Supreme Court judgment.
After wide consultations with the Senate
Then, the list of principal officers of the 9th Senate is read by the President of the Senate, as sent in by the chairman of the two major political parties, the APC and the PDP.
Senate Leader Abdullahi Abubakar Yahaya, Deputy Senate Leader Boniface Robert Ajayi, Chief Whip Dr. Oju Uzo Kalu, and Deputy Chief Whip Abdullahi Aliyu Sabi. Senate Minority Leader Senator Abarebe, Deputy Senate Minority Leader Senator Emmanuel Boacha, Senate Minority Whip Senator Philip Aduda, and Deputy Senate Minority Whip Senator Sahabiau.
That has been done.
The acceptance speeches of the two leaders dwell on unity of purpose in the Senate chamber.
I pledge to you that I will be a unifier, not a divider, and I will try as much as is humanly possible to engage with all my colleagues, irrespective of what side of the aisle they find themselves.
From this side of the aisle, we will give you our cooperation. And we expect the same cooperation to come from our colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
The President of the Senate also has a speech of his own.
I intend to work closely with President Buhari in the interest of Nigeria without compromising the integrity of the National Assembly as an independent arm of government with oversight powers as spelled out in the Constitution.
So it's an appointment of principal officers at the Senate, and Nigerians seem to be getting a clearer picture on the legislative structure for the 9th Senate and also the House of Representatives. Well, joining us for more on this from our Abuja studios is Professor Saidu Mohammed, a development expert and immediate former Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency. And I also hope that it would be right for me to call you an APC chieftain. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask right away, hearing this list, the principal officers at the Senate, I mean, a few reports show it was shocking to some, while others were pleased by it. Do you see the combination having a positive outlook with regards to the duties of the Senate?
Yes, thank you very much. It is a responsibility of the Senate to elect officers they think can perform the duties. And I believe they've done to the best of their ability. And one thing I'm happy, it satisfies federal character principles that every second of the country must be reflected, and besides, without compromising quality. That is indeed in the interest of our nation. And I'm sure even those that are surprised does not in any way talk about that quality has been compromised. In the light of that, it's in the best interest of our nation.
We also await a list from the House of Representatives in terms of their principal officers, but another area where a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians are waiting is the ministerial list. People are wondering why it's taking so long and it's not yet before the Senate. Isn't this a case of losing time, losing money in terms of policy direction of the APC-led administration under President Buhari?
Let me tell you, constituting a federal cabinet in a diverse country like Nigeria is not a tea party. It is in our interest that the President has enough time to look at all the interest groups, the diversities, and then come up with a formidable team that can deliver to the next level. So in the light of that, it's still some few weeks he took over the second term. And then I expect that Nigerians should exercise patience. And I'm also happy I read yesterday that most of them have been screened by the security agencies. So it's a matter of time because it is a process. It has to go through the whole cycle. And in the light of that, we can only pray that we get what we deserve as a nation, that understand politics and understand the technicalities involved in performing to the best of the ability that Nigerians expect them to do.
Finally, Professor Mohammed, how happy with the news of e-voting being introduced today in the House of Representatives? We hear it's for select national issues. I'm sure we're hoping that it would apply, to all of the issues on the floor.
Yes, thank you very much once again. For those of us in the technology sector, we are quite happy that this is happening. Let me tell you, we must note that Nigeria is part of the global community and that we must believe in the best global practices. The difference between us and the developed world is the use of technology. And therefore, we must not continue to remain in primitivity. So in the light of that, the e-voting being introduced today is in the right direction. If you recall that some of us have been behind the idea of research, to develop e-voting. And that has been done several years by the Space Agency, NICOMSAT Limited, and National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. And in the light of that, this technology has been perfected, even locally here in Nigeria. Therefore, I'm not surprised that a group as dynamic as the House of Representatives are today officially adopting the e-voting. So I congratulate them, and that we hope that the use will add value to what we do and make decisions quicker. And in the light of that, we're happy at this development.
All right, Professor Said Mohammed, I'd like to thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics at this time. That's the much we can take. We'd like to thank you for watching the program. Join the conversation at Channels TV at TTV Politics, #Lunchtime Politics. Goodbye for now. I'm Millicent Walker.